Okay, good. Let's go ahead and let me check this real quick. Go ahead and raise that just a tad. There, perfect. Okay, and we're back. So I guess it's time for the moment everybody who, well, anybody who may be watching this has been waiting for. We're gonna go ahead and dive into some Super Metroid for some fun sci-fi spooks. Definitely, this one is of all the Metroids that I've played. It's definitely my favorite. But there are a couple Metroid games that I'm very familiar with, but I've never actually played. That would be Metroid Primes 2 and 3, and Other M. So I think those are the only Metroid games I've never actually played myself. Okay, so here are my two files from last time. As you can see, I've practiced this game quite a bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and just I'll just have to remember that this one is my my stream file.
The last Metroid is in captivity. The galaxy is at peace.
Oh wow, voice acting. Really putting that 24 megabyte cartridge to its full use. So this is the as it said in the opening the opening splash screen or whatever it was. This is the third game chronologically in the series, after Metroid. I guess it would now be. I guess now it's Metroid Samus Returns. But Metroid 2. This is after Metroid 2, which was. At the time that this game was released in 1994, Metroid 2 was a Game Boy exclusive, and I believe I still have the cartridge for that somewhere around here. But I have Metro. I have the original Metroid 2 cartridge, and I also have Metroid Samus Returns, the remake, the official remake, because there's been a lot of other Metroid 2 remakes since the original game's release. You know, spread out across like fan sites and stuff. So I guess now Samus Returns is the is now has. I guess it's now replaced the original Metroid 2 as like the canon version of the story, which is fine by me. I really did enjoy Samus Returns, though I still haven't really gotten around to actually finishing it. I got pretty far in it, and I just kind of put it down after I pretty much put down Samus Returns when I started mostly neglecting my 3DS. At this point in my whole streaming endeavor, I'm just kind of winging it, and seeing, you know, what sticks and what doesn't. By the way, when I was a kid, I actually, my brother and I, we were really kind of shocked to see this part where the bodies are on the floor and they clearly have blood, which was not something you usually saw in an official Nintendo game. All right. And come on, show up. Ah, there he is. There's our good friend. Our good friend Ridley. Named after our other good friend, Sir Ridley Scott, the director of Alien. As a lot of people know, this game and its aesthetics owe a lot to Alien, as well as the artwork and concepts of H.R. Giger. Damn it. Okay, good. I was a little worried there. Self-destruct sequence activated, and here is one of the well-known staples of the Metroid series, the trying to outrun a timer, as the area that you're in is about to explode, which is usually this is usually placed somewhere either at the beginning or at the end, or both. I gotta avoid the steam. I remember when I played this when I was younger, I would sometimes let the timer run out just to see, like, I don't know, like during sequences like that, I was always curious, like, what would happen if I just waited. Like, I don't know what I expected. Planet Zebes. Right, I don't know if it's Zebes or if it's pronounced Zebes or Zebes. I hear a lot of people pronounce it Zebes, but I always pronounced it as Zebes. Okay. Let's go ahead and save real quick. Yes. Would you like to save? And let's go right. Nothing here. It's easy at this point in the early portions of the game to forget that you actually have a dash. When I replayed this a few months back, I hadn't played it in a long time, and so I had forgotten completely about the dash. So I was just kind of like, I was not having a very good time. I'll just leave it at that. Go over here. So, right here, Zebes is the location that you're in the very first Metroid. So, all of the, this whole section right here is the area where Samus fought Mother Brain during the events of the first game. I actually tried to I tried to replay the old, like the very first Metroid a little while back because I was considering streaming that instead, maybe trying to go through the games in chronological order. But I honestly don't think that the original Metroid for NES, I don't think it really holds up very well. Excuse me. It's a little too dated, and I don't normally like to say that any like good video game is quote unquote dated, but I don't like, if you're going to, in my opinion, if you're just trying to get into Metroid, and you want to know where to start, and you're considering starting at like Samus's whole journey from the very beginning, I would recommend actually playing something like Metroid Zero Mission, which is the the Game Boy Advance remake of the first Metroid. It has like all new sprite work, and it's got like semi-animated cutscenes and stuff, and it plays a little more like this one. I think they kind of realized that like the old Metroid is just not very fun to really go back to unless you're playing it with like save states and stuff, and they decided to update Zero Mission, or Metroid 1 years ago, to try to bring new players into like up to speed with the whole chronology. I was thinking about streaming Zero Mission, but I decided against it just because I'm much more familiar with this one. I mean, Zero Mission is not really very hard. It's if anything, it's easier than this one. It's just you know, I've beaten this one a few more times, and so it's just like a lot of things are very second nature to me as far as Super Metroid goes. I remember this part. Yes, scared me quite a bit when I was little. So I would have been 3 years old when this game came out, but I believe I first played it when I was like 8 or 9 years old. So like there was like the Super Nintendo was around for quite a while, because when the N64 came out in 96, 97, they also tried to keep the Super Nintendo alive for just a little while longer. So they released the SNES 2.0. I guess it's also, you know, it would also be called the SNES Junior, and that was the one that we often had. Like we would sort of, the way it was in my house is that we would have consoles for a little while, and then we would sell them, and then we'd get another console, and then we'd have that for like 6 months or a year, 6 months to a year, and then we'd sell that one and get a different one. And so we actually had a lot of consoles growing up, but not for very long, just because we, like, the way it was back then. That's the way it was back then. Is a lot of people were like that. People just kind of didn't really value consoles in the same way that they do now, where they're kind of like, you know, like just like, oh, like these big sort of collector types. It was just kind of like, we feel like having Sega Saturn this week, so let's go ahead and sell the Super Nintendo to some like crackhead or something, and go ahead and get a Saturn, and then when we get bored of the Saturn, we'll go ahead and get N64. But anyway, when the N64 came out, we were we also ended up getting the cheaper re-release of the Super Nintendo console, the SNES 2.0, and at that point, a lot of the rental stores were getting rid of their Super Nintendo games, and so it was real easy at that time, if you were a little kid with a small allowance, to just buy a bunch of like used Super Nintendo games. If your family was not wealthy enough to buy a PlayStation or an N64 with a lot of games. So it would have been around 97, 98 when I first played this game. Come on, there. We got the Morph Ball Bomb. So that's good. And here we're also going to fight our first boss, or second boss if you don't count Ridley. The Chozo statue here comes alive. And then you have to kind of do that. I'm probably going to die right here. I have a feeling that I'm not going to do too well. One thing about this Chozo statue here is, we were talking very briefly earlier about the influence of Alien, of Ridley Scott's Alien and H.R. Giger on Metroid's aesthetics. I have a weird feeling that there might be another movie that people don't really know much about that may have influenced some of the aesthetics here, and that would probably be, if I had to guess, oh my god, go away, that would probably be Night of the Blood Beast, which is an old it's an old 50s like schlocky, kind of hokey sci-fi movie. It's one of Roger Corman's productions. But the movie Night of the Blood Beast is one of the movies that some people believe may have helped inspire Alien, along with stuff like Terror from Beyond Space and The Thing from Another World. With those two latter movies, I'm pretty sure Alien screenwriter Dan O'Bannon, I'm pretty sure he has already admitted that those movies influenced his script for Alien. But Night of the Blood Beast is a 1958 sci-fi horror film about an astronaut that comes back from space, and he's been sort of impregnated, so to speak, with alien spores. And the progenitor of the spores is sort of stalking has come down with him as well, and is stalking the protagonists. And the thing is, in Night of the Blood Beast, the Blood Beast, the titular monster, actually looks a lot like the Chozo statues in this game, and I guess in the other Metroids. It has, like, if you actually look up the monster in Night of the Blood Beast, it almost looks exactly like the boss we just fought, with the beak and the big bulging eyes and the round kind of head. And it makes me wonder if if the developers and the designers for the Metroid series, if they may have been a little familiar with that old Corman picture. I mean, it's not like I'm not saying it is, but you know, it'd be interesting.